it into a curl cream. So this is basically just taking waste ingredients and repurposing them. And I think it's a great trend, but there's obviously some risks, right? So the first one, which might be kind of obvious, raw material variability. So when you're using these types of ingredients, and I've had this feedback from clients where they'd prefer to use, ingredients that are kind of predictable, less variability, because it allows you to kind of get the same product each time. When you're using upcycled ingredients, that may be a little trickier. So it could affect the quality, it could affect the stability. You want to make sure that you're vetting your suppliers really well, you're getting the C of A's, and having really strong quality protocols, maybe having ranges versus something specific, just to kind of make sense of that variability. Next is contaminant and allergen risk. So a lot of these upcycled ingredients, especially if they come from agriculture, may have things like pesticides or different contaminants or allergens because of where they came from, right? There's different standards for food versus cosmetics. One is you're ingesting, one is going on the skin, for example. So you want to make sure you're conducting comprehensive safety assessments to try to mitigate those risks. And then finally, claim substantiation and greenwashing. So one of the things I became aware of is there are third-party certifications for upcycled ingredients that you can get to just substantiate. You want to substantiate any sustainability claims with data. That's on the FTC side. And then again, going back to that the first slide or second slide, as well on the litigation. So having as much documentation as possible to support is really important. Having a dossier, a very well thought out plan for how you're going to substantiate all of this is very, very important. All right, so now I'm going to turn it over to Lisa to work on multi-performance ingredients.
Thank you, Heather. So one of the trends we have been seeing is multi-performance ingredients. And one that Heather mentioned early was the rise in fragrances. One of the things we've seen with multi-performance ingredients, specifically in fragrances, is companies adding pheromones to their fragrances. Consumers today want more from their cosmetics. They're looking for products that will simplify their routines, but still deliver actual results. So think of niacinamide, which brightens while also reducing inflammation and strengthening the skin's barrier all in one, right? More bang for your buck, essentially. Or peptides that support collagen and improve elasticity and hydrate. So these ingredients, essentially, I like to refer to them as the Swiss Army knives of ingredients because they do more than one thing, and that's what consumers are looking to achieve. But, of course, with everything else, any new innovation requires regulatory responsibilities. So a number of the risks that we're seeing with multi-performing ingredients is back to what Heather also mentioned, and you'll see these repeated time and time again with trends, which is claim substantiation and safety studies. Because a lot of these ingredients that are being added to cosmetics are new to cosmetics, there are not the same number of safety studies that you're going to find with other well-known ingredients. In addition to that, your claim substantiation can be a problem if there's no long-term data for these ingredients. But of course, time and again, the biggest concern with new ingredients in a product and the claims that you're making is, are you pushing the envelope with a drug claim on your cosmetic? So working closely with regulatory to make sure that you are not delving into the drug arena for your multi-performing ingredients and the claims that you're making, while also making sure you have those safety studies and substantiation for those claims. The second trend I'm going to be speaking about is beauty from within. Think dietary supplements that support beauty, typical beauty product claims. For example, one we've known for years, right? Biotin is supposed to help with hair and nail growth. Everybody's taking collagen these days, and not necessarily for joint pain, but they're taking collagen for elasticity of the skin. they're taking probiotics because gut health ends up helping your skin look better. And they're taking these supplements and utilizing them for what is traditionally cosmetic type claims. The biggest problem here is blurring the lines between cosmetics and supplements. And where there can be a problem from the supplement side is if these ingredients are considered new dietary ingredients. But one of the things that I've come across is a lack of substantiation for a lot of these claims. For example, I recently researched collagen substantiations for claims about elasticity with the skin. There's very little out there of third-party studies that have been completed that confirms collagen actually supports elasticity of the skin. So when you're making these new claims on traditional supplements, make sure that there are third-party studies that have been done. The other aspect that is, of course, back to the same thing, right? Claim safety substantiation for these ingredients, proper labeling, and misleading claims. And sometimes these claims will also delve into the drug arena, but more so it's going to be the claim substantiation, at least with what I've been seeing. And my third and final trend that we're seeing is biotech beauty. I think this is a fascinating topic because it takes everything that we are seeing trending in the world right now and applies it to cosmetics. We're talking lab-grown hyaluronic acid, precision peptides. I have seen situations where people are targeting their cosmetics based on your specific needs. I'm sure some of you have seen commercials for a hair care product line that they are tailor making your shampoo and conditioner based on your hair, your region, your everything specific. That's biotech beauty. And more companies are leaning this way. And consumers love the idea because they see it as high performing skincare and they're willing to pay the additional dollars. In addition to that, a lot of these companies are promoting sustainability as part of their business practice. So you have two aspects consumers like, right? This area, sustainability and high performing skincare. They also have challenges though, right? When you are creating individual products for people, one of the things you're going to come across as MOCRA implements its good manufacturing practices is how do you follow traditional GMPs when your batch sizes are so small? It can become cost prohibitive for manufacturers to be able to do the same level of GMP for batch sizes that small when they're that tailor-made. In addition to that, these products traditionally have green claims and natural claims. And as Heather mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, we're seeing a lot of lawsuits and FTC coming after companies for the natural claims and the green claims. So be very careful when you're using these claims that the way that you're utilizing them has been reviewed by somebody and that the areas, the jurisdictions where you're selling your products, it's not going to become a problem. In addition to that, a lot of these companies are looking to sell worldwide. And if any of you are in the international space, you'll know that it's very difficult sometimes to mesh the EU regulations and the South Korean regulations with the United States. So it's going to cause even more issues as you make your products specific to individuals, trying to balance out all of these regulatory frameworks for these different countries. So again, keep in mind, make sure you get regulatory in at the ground level when you're talking biotech beauty so that as you are R&Ding through these products, you're keeping in mind any hindrances you may have from a regulatory standpoint early on. And Heather, that is all I have on those three beauty topics. Litigation trends.